Stop spinning. All right, we're going live. Plane in Traffic, the internet's only show where you can hear opinions, ideas. You can learn things, and you can share your thoughts and opinions with the likes of our chief man in charge, Mr. Lewis Lee, myself,
Hello,
Ray
everybody.
from Motormouth Radio, and our panel of experts who rotates in and out.
Yep.
Everything from tool to body work to drag race to we got it all, man. Painters, body guys, you name it, everything.
Everything we can get anything built,
Exactly.
even down to model cars, or not model cars. We call them AC cars.
Right, and Hot Wheels too.
Oh yeah, Hot Wheels.
We got our Hot Wheels and Matchbox experts, right?
Yeah, we got specialists.
Yeah.
So how was your week, Ray? Did you do anything exciting?
Busy. Had my car back in the body shop, get some chip repair done, little paint touch up. I went to the only car show of the year that I attend because a friend of mine puts it on in up in Whitestone, Queens, and I got a People's Choice Award.
Nice.
Which to me is probably the most valuable trophy in the show to me, because that means the people who came through and looked like your car out of all the others. And
right.
You know, it takes all the mystification out of the judging concepts and this show is straight up. There's no coercion going on. So, you know, that's okay too. But yeah, it was a real it was a good day. And then I locked my keys in the car and got stuck. So had
it's always something to offset the day, right?
Oh, let me tell you. Had to borrow a car, drive all the way back home, drop off the family, then drive all the way back. And,
oh, boy.
And then, of course, they were in the trunk. So now I ordered a power trunk release. So that won't happen again.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a fun day. Yeah.
Good. All right, well, we'll get the fellas in. We're just talking questions and answers tonight.
Sounds good.
Anybody in the live on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to ask questions or tell us when we're doing something wrong or saying something wrong. You're all welcome. We welcome all comments.
Right.
All right. We got a special guest here tonight.
I see that.
Let's get him in. He started out the show with us.
Now there's a man who definitely knows how to take care of business.
What's going on? Can you folks hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having. This is a beacon of free speech.
Yes, sir.
Dad, Lewis. Well, I don't want to call you senior because we have different last names, or excuse me, different middle names. But you said that anything goes, right? Anyone can ask you anything. I feel like that's dangerous.
Well, I'll just exit out if it's something crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate this forum that you have for folks. One of the things we had dinner with a business owner that's friend with our family, and he was mentioning that his son is super into cars right now. I think he's like 16, 17 years old. What was he working on, Dad? What car was he building?
I think it was what was it? It's a tip of my tongue. It's a Subaru.
Subi. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was a Subaru, one of those what are they? XR something?
Yes, that's what it was. And I remember you explaining to the guy Plane in Traffic and the people that you have on to come and talk about their expertise, and his face lit up, because it was like an opportunity to connect with people that have years and years and years of experience. And to me, that's an opportunity to learn from people who have made more mistakes than other people have tried anything.
Exactly.
And I think that's invaluable. And I think this is a huge resource.
Yeah, we've learned a lot from this show. For people that don't know, Lewis was he was here day one when we started Plane in Traffic.
Yeah.
And so throughout the years, we've learned a lot. I can't say we taught people a lot, but we've made a lot of good friends, and good platform. I mean, we really enjoy it, and we enjoy when new people come in and hang out with us. We enjoy all the celebrities that come by. Just a great time. Just a great place to fellowship.
You're absolutely right. Both Lewises, because we, there's people, friends of mine, watch this show. They're behind the scenes and they watch it. Some of them will text me during the show, and so we never see them here. I mean, as far as the show goes, we don't know they exist, but
Mhm.
I do. And I get feedback, and they say, "Hey, you know what? When you guys were talking about this or that, or you had so and so on, that was stuff that I've never heard anywhere else, and I always wondered about." And they like the way that the information is presented. Same way we do it on a radio show.
Mhm.
We don't talk at people; we talk with people, and
Right.
and then we try and share that information and get a dialogue going. Because I found myself personally, when I can talk to someone and talk them through something, sometimes I can learn something too. It's not just one way. There's usually a two-way going on there.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And the people that keep it to themselves and they're going to the grave with it, I feel bad for them because I don't think it's going to help them.
Hmm.
You know,
Yep, you're right.
got paid forward now.
What I like is when I'm somewhere, like maybe out of town at a show or somewhere, and people come up to me and they know me, and it's kind of weird. Like, whoa, hey
Yeah,
Lewis, how you doing? I watch your show all the time, and I was like, well, why have you come on? You got to come on and hang out with us.
right.
So I get a lot of that people say they watch, but they don't.
Yeah,
They don't jump in. So everybody's welcome. Jump in.
absolutely.
Ray, Dad, do you have any big misconceptions, or I shouldn't say big misconceptions? Do you have any common misconceptions about what you're trying to do here?
Uh,
I
no.
think I to jump in first. I think my goals, whatever were, I didn't really have any goals in the beginning. I was just a helper. I was here to help out,
Mhm.
and I think I've learned a lot more and seen a lot, got a lot of positivity out of helping other people and learning from them tenfold than what I ever expected.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
On my end, I'm just excited to be able to connect people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us here are really good friends from the show.
right?
You know what I mean? And just it's nice when you talk to somebody like, oh yeah, I met this guy on your show, and now we're the best of friends, or we travel, or we stay at each other's houses and stuff like that. So you know, that for me, that's a big.
And like on the radio show, this show hasn't been on quite as long, but still, we've seen people come in that we had here weekly that are now not on weekly anymore for whatever reason. In their lives, they're doing other things. We've lost people. We lost John. We
Mhm.
lost a close member. So we've gone through a lot of cycles that really makes me snap my head back and say, "Whoa, this thing is an entity and it's a force." And there's cohesiveness. There's been hurt. It hurts when you lose people. Other
Right.
people disappeared and say, "I wonder whatever happened to that guy." Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he didn't. But
Hmm.
yeah, we've gone through a lot of different emotions, if you will.
Yeah.
So
A lot of like Vince came in a couple weeks ago.
right,
He hasn't been on in probably 8 months, but he pops in like it's like he's never been gone.
right.
But everybody gets busy. When you grow up and have to eat, things change.
That's true.
I like that. Ray, you talked about losing people and that hurting, and I don't want to compare the two or even compare tragedies, but it makes me think: is there a car that you've had in your history that you lost that hurt the most?
Well, yeah, there's the one I let go that I wish I never let go, and I still talk about it to this day. Yeah, there is one, and it was my second gen Camaro, and and the thing that kills me is I was trying to sell it, and nobody would buy it, and I dropped the price. I was almost giving it away, and nobody would buy it. Forget the fact because I didn't even know it, that now, fast forward this many years, the car would be worth a decent amount of money the way it was optioned. I wasn't even thinking that. I just like to have it back because I really dug that car. So yeah, I think everybody's got a one or more of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dad?
I'll tell you this. I got to tell you, just let me full circle this, and this is what I've been talking to Brian about. The car that I still have, my Pontiac, that I've had since 1975. I finally got around to restoring it. Now it's painted. I was actually out there today polishing the wheels and polishing the chrome, and I'm not a polish guy. I'm a mechanical guy. I'm looking at that car and saying, Dan, you look sweet. And I am so happy when I get in that car and drive it. I am so glad that I never had to get rid of it. I was fortunate to never have to get rid of it. And so there's a piece of my past that I still have, that I can relive my past in and go to the future in. So that sword that cuts both ways. It can be good and bad.
Right.
Dad, before you share yours, I wrote down my guess. So I want you to tell us what the car that you lost that hurts the most, and then I'm gonna have my hands visible, and we're gonna see if I guessed it right. How's that?
All right. At a 79 Cutlass.
Okay, stop.
That's what I would have guessed.
Oh, you can't see it. It's blurred out. Oh
It's
no.
invisible.
Oh no.
Oh wait, there we go. We have it for a second.
Hold on. Let me take this off.
Yeah, it's the virtual backgrounds.
Okay, how do you like that, Dad?
Yep.
Cut this.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Dad.
That was is a 79 Cutlass with T-tops. That was my competition stereo competition car. So it was pretty juiced up. It was my car, and I bought a couple other cars, and I had too many cars in my driveway.
Yeah.
My parents was like, "Hey, you got to do something, man. We got to move cars every time we go outside."
Right.
So I got rid of the Cutlass because it was I kind of got used to it. You know what I mean? So I had a couple other cars, and I was like, well, you know what? I'll just sell a Cutlass. And I wish I would have kept it because now that car's worth some money.
Sure.
You know, they're rare 79s that had T-tops.
Right.
Yep.
So moving into the present now, Lewis, what are your thoughts on the bus project? Other Lewis.
Lewis.
Okay. Oh, what is my opinion about
what are your thoughts on the bus project?
It's
not
multi-pronged. Well, for me, I'm just gonna tap dance because I'm not a car builder. I don't have these skills. I can't build, unfortunately. But for me, it was an inspiration when my dad had folks coming from all around the country to come help him with lifting the roof.
Yeah.
To me, that was it showed the beauty of the car building community, that people would come together and help people out, and not only help people out like with their physical hands, but just sharing knowledge. There was a lot of that going around too. People just hanging out, teaching one another. Somebody taught me how to weld, right? So that was awesome. And it was an inspiration to me to see that come together as a result of the internet, of all places. Sometimes the internet has a bad rap, but it seemed like these folks were putting it to good use. So that's the first thing that sticks out to me. And then the second thing is inspirational to me is it's a fun project for my dad. He loves building things, but this goes deeper than that. You know, he wears a shirt that says "Real men build freedom" or something like that. Is that how it goes, Dad?
Yeah.
With the bus on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that idea goes beyond people who are building schoolies. Your vehicle, your vessel to freedom may not be an actual bus. It may not be an actual vehicle, but if you want to do something and you want to shape your future and you want to do it in a way that is productive, you got to make the decisions to do that. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to get out there when you don't want to work on things. And that's what my dad's doing. So I want to say he practiced what he preaches, but he's not even at this point. He's not even preaching anything. He's just doing it. It's just all practice, all execution. And then when he gets together with you guys, it's all love and fun and great conversation. So it's been a huge inspiration to me. I think that the term there's this term that that artists have. I think it's called like a requiem or something like that. That it's like the peak of I think Mozart. His last album was, or it wasn't an album then. It was called like his last symphony was called his Requiem, and that was like his crown jewel that set everything else apart as an artist. And I asked my dad if he felt like the bus build was that, and he told me no. So he must have something planned that's bigger and beyond this bus. So whatever it is, I'm down for it, and I'm just so inspired and so proud, to be his son. So just want to thank you Dad for that. And
I could have told you the answer was no, and I'll tell you why. Because people ask me that question too. I'm like, no, man, I got another build in me. We're not done. We're never done until we can't do it anymore. Like you'll know when you're done.
Yeah, because you're doing something you like to do. You know what I mean? So it's more of a hobby than an actual, I have to do this. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I know, I climb less ladders now, and I'm more careful when I'm doing dangerous stuff because I know I can get hurt. So I'm a little more conscientious of it, but, I still do stuff,
Right.
And I realize now, I've known all my life, we've all heard guys say, I'm done with this, or I'm done with that. I'm not going to ride a motorcycle anymore. And I always think, how can you do that? You've been doing it for so long. That's bullshit. And then in my own life, when I had to start making conscientious choices of not to do something maybe as much as I did before or in the same way, I see it happening. It's like, age is the great equalizer. And you have to protect yourself as you age so you can keep going, you know?
Right.
So let's talk about that, Ray. I'm curious on behalf of a younger generation. What is something that you've learned to help kind of prolong your career and set you up for success to keep doing this? What's something that you've learned that you wish you would have knew when you were 30 years old?
That's a good question. I mean, my first thought was like, pace yourself. But no, when you're young, you don't have to pace yourself. You just go balls to the wall and you go, and then you go out afterwards and you party, and then you go home and you sleep 2 hours and you go back to work. So that's not it. I would say probably safety. I mean, I got the scars. My daughters have looked at, my hands and the scars and the disfigurements on my fingers and all. I'm like, yeah, those were mistakes. Mm-hmm. I know people who've lost fingers and limbs, from carelessness. I'm fortunate not to have that ever happen. So I think safety, work safe, and think about it. Like, don't just jump in. Think about it for a minute before you execute. We can all benefit from that. And when you're young and stupid, we were, you don't think about that. So I'm sure your dad thinks a lot more now than he did before he does something.
Oh yeah,
climbing up a ladder in the rain with a power tool, and like, wait a minute,
right?
Yeah, I was talking to some guys at work just the other day, and I was telling them how fast it is to get hurt, and it's always in your mind. You're like, well, I'm going to cut this piece of wood.
Yeah,
I don't need my goggles or my safety glasses. And as I got older, I started catching myself saying that. I'm like, oh. And I'll stop. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get them.
I was just working in the garage yesterday, and I was cutting it was like aluminum style pot metal, and I was using a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel. And as I cut in one direction, there was no problem. The wheel was putting all the slag down. But then when I cut the other way, it was sending it up. And I felt it like hitting my face, and I was like, get the glasses.
Yeah.
Because that stuff, that's small. So yeah, we do that. My buddy at the shop, who owns the shop, they were doing a renovation, knocking a wall down, and he was up on this 12-foot ladder, and he was up and down with some saws and power tools doing stuff. And he'd been at it for, a while. And then he went up, battery was dead in the tool. So he went down to get another battery. In the time it took him to come back, somebody took that ladder, the A-frame ladder, and folded it and leaned it up against the wall. They had to get through with something big, and they didn't set it back up. So he comes back and says, oh, all right, I'll just go up like this. The ladder's against the wall. Well, he should have taken a moment to open it up, because now when he did what he did, he slipped and he fell off that ladder and shattered his leg right up, the bones from his foot right up to his knee.
Wow.
And he's already 62 years old when he did this. So he was out of business for the better part of a year.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw him today. He still limps around. That's going to be with him now. Like when you're 18 and you do it, yeah, you're okay till you're 30. Maybe it comes back to bite you, but he'll live with that one. And it was funny because right after he did that a couple of years ago, we were putting up some Christmas decorations outside. And I'm up on a 6-foot ladder with my wife and daughter. And I kind of picked up on something that she wanted to say something but didn't. So I come down and she goes, all right, now I got to tell you something. You just told me how your friend got hurt falling off a ladder. She goes, I was watching you up there. I was on the second to the top step, and I knew it. I knew what I was doing. I was kind of pivoting. I was on one foot, and then I twisted around. I said, yeah, I know what I was doing. I said, I wasn't doing ballet up there. I said, but believe me, I said, as stupid as it sounds, I knew that I had footing. I wasn't like leaning off the ladder and like tipping it. I said, as stupid as that sounds. And she says, learn from other people's mistakes, man. I was like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're right.
One day I was drilling something with a small drill bit, and I was like, oh, I don't need my glasses. And then I caught myself again. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get them, because it's going to take a couple seconds to go grab them.
Yeah.
I got them everywhere. I got them in the bus. I got them on all my tables. So I grabbed them, and I started drilling. That stinking bit broke and hit me right here in my cheek.
There you go.
A couple an inch away, it would have had my eye.
Yeah.
So
no, it's very true.
I really started catching myself. I put a mask on when I'm using a table saw, and just little things that takes a couple seconds to put on.
That's the beauty of age. You learn to work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if it takes an extra second or an extra step to get the safety equipment, it's going to save you some grief down the road. So,
matter of fact, my man Rich just popped up in the chat. He sent a box of safety glasses when we lifted the roof of the bus.
Nice.
Thank you. So I got them all over the place. I got his glasses all over the shop.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's the same thing like with, we both ride motorcycles. And I've had people asking me, why do you always wear a jacket in the summer? You wear gloves and the I said, listen, you got to. My pet peeve is I'll see someone on a bike in the summer, and the first thing I look at is their feet. It's like, what's the guy's wearing, shoes or flip flops, or I saw a guy the other day with shorts and a tank top, and I was like, and I had people say to me, how do you wear gloves? I was like, let me tell you something. I said, it's not always the most comfortable thing in the world to do in the summer. I said, but if for any reason you have to leave that motorcycle, and it's happened to me twice, I said, the first thing you do, you become Superman. You put your arms out in front of you to stop so the first thing hitting the ground are these hands that are going to slide down the asphalt. And I said, if you don't have any other broken bones or whatever other problems you may or may not have, I said, do you know how long it takes to rehab the flesh on your hands? You can't brush your teeth. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't wipe your ass. You can't do anything. You can't use your computer. You can't, if you really scare up that bad. And then people thought about it and said, wow, I never thought of it that way. Like, I know. That's why I wear gloves.
Yep, I do too. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to move to instead of a half helmet to a full helmet.
Yeah, I have one that flips up.
Yeah, I do too.
It'll flip up. That's a nice compromise.
Yeah, so
that's a good helmet to have too. Yeah.
All right, let's get the fellas in and see what they're talking about. We got Papa Squirrel, we got Brian and Jim. Hey, Rich.
Hey guys, how you doing?
If you wanted to come in, I'll send you a link if you want to jump on the screen.
Brian, I like the new background.
I put that up for you when I was on the radio.
I figured I knew because it was new on Sunday. I saw it.
Yeah,
Very nice.
it's the alligator. It's in a GTO, a rat
Oh,
fink.
Okay.
And
See that.
that was Ray looking over my shoulder to make sure I held it halfway together.
Mhm.
You see, Lewis, there's the answer for you. On this show, we've actually co-hosted for each other. You know, I filled in when your dad couldn't make it. Brian filled in for Chris because I think Chris decided he was filling in for me, so you were filling in for him. Even though he was there. I don't know. It was his
It was
rules.
crazy.
There was somebody here, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, right.
But you know, you're talking about gloves and helmets and glasses and stuff like that. When I was younger, I'd ground without glasses. Of course, I got a piece of metal in my eye and had to go have it taken out. And I did a bunch of stupid things. Yes, age might not bring wisdom, but it brings the slow down and get your glasses, get your gloves, get the safety equipment. Don't climb up something when you're tired.
Yeah.
Working with a wood splitter one day, I was tired. And I thought, you know what? I'd better not split any more wood. The last piece of wood I split was the one that got me.
Mm-hmm.
Emergency room for a few stitches.
Yeah.
And now, if I even think I'm tired with a log splitter, I won't even get near it.
I was just telling a buddy the other night. I was talking to an old friend that I contact every few months, and I said to him, and I even told my wife this. I said, you know, now I developed a tell. Like, you know, poker people have a tell. I said, when I'm working, no matter where I am, if I'm in the shop or if I'm at home or wherever, I said, when I start tripping on things and dropping things, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going downhill fast. I got to just stop and say, come back tomorrow to fight another day.
Yep.
Because nothing good's going to happen after that.
Nope. And you can't work when you've got broken arms or legs or your eye put out or anything else. So
Exactly. Very
that's
true.
a good reason to quit.
Exactly.
Mine won't even let me climb up on a ladder anymore because for the last 2 years I've had these shakes and weird things to me that's happened, and I can lose not consciousness, but I can lose concentration super fast.
Uh-huh.
So now I can't climb up on a ladder.
Yeah.
Because if my wife catches me on one, she said she'll just shoot me. Hey, it's better than a hospital trip.
Yeah, right.
Especially if it's trash night. You know, all I do is drag you out to the corner, set you there.
Yep.
Yeah, it sucks getting hurt, man. Especially you hurt your fingers because
Oh, God, yes.
it's hard to heal.
Yeah.
Funny thing about it was one time my wife put a drill bit through her thumb.
Whew.
And she said, I knew it was not smart, but she was using one of these cheap Harbor Freight bits, and it looked like it had a little rust on it. Well, when she gets to pressing on a bit or on a drill, she got some pretty good pressing strength, and that thing snapped. And she said before she knew it, she felt it go into her finger.
Oh.
And she said, that hurt.
Yeah.
No kidding. So we took her to the emergency room, and of course they had to get an x-ray to make sure there wasn't any bits of drill bit left.
Yeah.
And doctor said, you had your tetanus shot? Don't know when. Okay, we'll give you another one.
Right.
But that learned her about drill bits. Now she buys the good bits because they're not as likely to break.
I preach this all day long, guys. I go in and I see guys and and I tell them, they say, oh, well, that's too much on your truck or that's too much here or whatever. And I said, there's a reason. And sometimes they get lucky, and after a minor incident, they buy the good one. Some guys, pay the price and lose a body part, or I had just using the tools wrong. I try all day long trying to show a guy the right tool for the right job.
Mhm.
And some guys listen, some guys don't, and some guys get hurt. So
That's another thing, using a tool for the wrong application.
yeah,
That'll
that's
get you hurt. Yep.
hurting. Hurt you. Oh, you get hurt in a heartbeat real quick.
Oh, nobody's used a screwdriver as a pry bar. Come on.
No.
Never. That's why they have those new screwdriver or pry bars that look like screwdrivers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could use a screwdriver.
Yep.
Yeah. They really do. And the funny part is I got guys that say, well, if they make it look like it, why can't I still use my screwdriver? So it's
There are some people you're never going to be able to get to understand that.
Those are the people where every problem is a nail, so every tool is a hammer.
Yes.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
As my wife always said when she worked in the bomb dump, the best tool for a job is a big hammer. Well, she's finally quit that now. She's gotten really smart about these things.
Or the thing is, getting smarter, you buy different size hammers.
Right.
Yeah. But
All right,
we
so I got
Yeah.
a tech question.
What do you got?
Okay, my diesel heater, I'm going to tap the diesel tank of the bus. All right, so the diesel heater comes with this.
Question.
So this goes inside. You got to go inside the tank and then put the washer and nut on the top. But how do you get inside the tank? My sending unit is only about 2 inches round, so I don't think I can get this in and get it to turn the corner and come up through the hole.
Okay, is this a pry bar? Is this a pry bar or?
You're breaking up.
I can't see it. It's got too much of a glare.
Yeah.
He's backlit.
So
That's a pocket pry bar.
it's a pocket pry bar.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yep. Those are pry bars.
A very popular tool.
So your sitting unit is only about 2 inches. Your hole's only about 2 inches.
Yeah, it's real small. Just small sending unit on the top, and I was gonna drill a hole kind of close to it and put that through, but I don't think I can make that bend. Because actually I can cut some of this off, so I'll probably cut about right here.
Is that the
enough.
pickup?
Yeah,
All right, so the pickup should go down to the bottom of the tank.
yeah, about an
That's
inch from the
extra?
bottom.
That it's bent. Is that just extra?
Yeah, it's an
Depending on-
extra, so you'll have enough to cut.
Depending on whatever size tank you have. So yeah,
Right.
you can cut that or straighten it or whatever.
Right.
Make an L out of it even.
Yep. So I seen another guy. He had one of these that didn't have this little flange there.
Yeah.
So that's inside the tank.
Okay.
So his didn't have that flange. So he tapped the tank and just screwed this into the tank.
So that nut comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that flange has to go in from the inside, then the nut goes on from the outside.
Right. But his didn't have that little flange.
Okay.
Or
So,
the only other thing you could do is where the line comes out of the tank. Where the line comes out of the tank, you tap into that and make a T fitting and run off on that.
oh,
And that way you're not
the main
you're not
hose.
because there's low pressure. It's
Yeah.
low pressure. There's no pressure because you have a lift pump. There's no pump inside the tank. You have a lift pump down the top, and I guess there should be a pump in the heater. That's what when it turns on, it's sucking. So you just want to have a low place, but you could come out and have a T connector coming out of the tank because you should have. You just want to make sure you're getting the feed and not the return because. Unless it's running, you're not going to have any fuel on the return side.
Right.
You should have should that's pre-emissioned, right? There's no DEF on that truck, on that diesel, right?
I don't know.
You don't have a DEF tank. You're not running the
no.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you should only be one line. I don't think you have two lines going back.
Yeah.
But you should have one line going up to a lift pump or the fuel pump. Might have a lift pump in the frame, and then you might have a fuel pump up on the motor or whatever.
Now let me ask you this: Will the heater be able to suck the fuel out when the motor's not running on the truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just want to do it. You just want to do it before the pre-pump or before, because it'll be the same thing like just being in the tank. You're gonna have fluid there. You're just gonna have only one line coming out of the tank. You're not going to have to drill or try to fish that in, tighten that up.
Oh, that makes
And the
sense.
other thing you got to watch out for, I would probably already go in the lowest point there, because there's going to be a sock or a pre-filter inside. And whatever you do, you got to make sure you keep that fuel clean and dry, going into those heaters. Those heaters work great, but any kind of foreign objects, water, fuel contamination, you're going to be playing hell getting that thing straightened out.
Right.
So, because there should be a sock already. There should be a sock in there. So
it has a filter before the pump too.
Yeah, like mine. I think I have 3 filters. I think I have 3 on mine, and you get one that you always replace, and then one every big service or whatever that you change. But you just, like I said, the easiest way would be coming off, make a T connector, and
that makes sense.
That way you don't have to drill, because I tell you, drilling into that tank, it sounds simple, but man, you get metal shavings down in there, or you can't get a good seal. You'll be hating life.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna try it.
So that's what I would do. I would just run off.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Or hell, you could be a smart ass and get yourself about a 10-gallon tank and stick it under there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes with I think it's a. Wait a minute, let me see. Hold on.
Because if you had a separate fuel tank, that makes it easier, so you don't have to worry about you drinking too much fuel out of your running tank.
Yeah, primary pump or your main tank. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than having that run out of fuel.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the only problem with, I think earlier on the tool trucks, they used to have a separate tank, but guys would run them dry, and then you have all kinds of problems. Yeah,
this is a 15-liter tank.
Yeah.
But I want to put it in my regular tank, so I'll just fill the tank of the truck or the bus and be done.
Yeah.
I wanted to mess with this at all.
And then so they went in and they put them in a regular tank because guys were running them dry, empty, and like I said, there's nothing. You run them empty, and you gotta watch, because diesel will absorb water or moisture. So you got something like a separate tank like that, and that you're not using 6 or 8 months out of the year. I know you're in a colder climate, but you get it halfway, and you get a lot of condensation and moisture in there, and it like I said, it just plays hell.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about tapping into the line. That's
I would just tap in and run it off, and then like I said, you just want to. I would even put a low volume or a filter from that going in before you go into your regular heater?
Yeah, it has one. Yep.
Oh, okay. Because those things, like I said, it's very similar to the ones that they sell for garages where you can use like oil heat, like you use your oil, your waste oil and so forth. And they actually have two different ones because a lot of guys make this mistake. They'll buy one to heat the shop up, which does a great job, but they get one that will not accept antifreeze. And they get oil mixed with antifreeze, and it
kills it.
Oh yeah, it just destroys the sensors and the igniter and everything. And once you get a tank that's contaminated, even though the tank is contaminated in the first place because it's waste oil, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but you get something with 2 or 3 gallons of antifreeze in it, and you're chasing your tail. It's almost like the old days with the Audi 5000 power steering system when they put the wrong fluid in, because they'll say, oh, well, your rack's leaking. So you put a rack in. Oh, now your pump's leaking. Okay. And then your lines. And you're like, this is a vicious circle. You're just chasing your tail.
Yep.
And then they say, well, you got to replace everything. And of course, what do they forget? They forget to do the reservoir. That still has the fluid in it. So
started all over.
They're starting all over again. So
Audi 5000. That was the rapper's delight.
Rapper's delight. Yeah.
I had one.
Yeah. Those and like I said, I have a 4000 and it took a different type of power steering. And people still mix those all. Back then, everybody thought fluid was the same fluid, and so, and that even runs in today. I mean, you can run into that problem. You take a Honda and you put the wrong power steering fluid in, you have all kinds of issues. So,
right.
Yeah, because in the 70s we were putting transmission fluid in power steering units.
Yep.
Because, hey, my boss said it was cheaper, so we just fill up the power steering bottle and take it out there and show it to them.
Yeah, people thought power steering fluid was a universal fluid for everything.
Yep.
A lot of people still do.
Yeah.
Can't do it now on these new cars, boy. They're finicky.
No.
Oh, hell, my daughter's PT Cruiser had to have a special fluid for the transmission. It was sold only by Chrysler. So.
Yeah.
But it's better to put what they recommend than it is to put something else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember back in the 80s, I was working in Queens, and I have my friend who we affectionately termed Honda John because he's always had Honda motorcycles, Honda cars, and I had bought an Accord at the time. And I went out to his house in Brooklyn, and he serviced his Accord, and he changed the fluid in the 5-speed transmission in a manual. And now it was the colder months, and the thing wouldn't shift. It was like, couldn't get it out of gear. I was like, what do you do? He goes, I don't know. I just put, gear oil in it. Well, I said, you know what, John? I think I saw something about that. We looked in a book. It took pretty much automatic transmission fluid in that 5-speed box. And unfortunately, we had the car inside, so we got it warm enough, drained out that gear oil, and put in the lighter oil. And wouldn't you know, it was perfect. And he was like, we were both like, man, first time I ever saw that. Who would have ever guessed?
Yeah.
But yeah. Live and learn.
They used to. We had in the Boxsters and 911s. They ran a 0.40 weight oil or whatever, 0.30. But all the old guys, or the guys that had the old air cools, they were used to that 2050 racing oil and all that stuff. So they would put 2050 in them, and the first time it got cold, it would hold the fluid was too thick and wouldn't go through the passages, so it would hold the vanos open. And next thing you know, it would leave all the valves open, and they would have no compression, and the car wouldn't start.
Even now,
Yeah.
the transmission I have in my Pontiac, it's a Tremec. It's an aftermarket 5-speed. That thing takes GM synchro mesh fluid, which looks like automatic transmission fluid.
Yeah.
And like they say, do not put anything else in. You will, void the warranty. Blah 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 blah. And that's what it takes.
But I remember it was so funny because we had gotten a couple of those cars in on the hook, and of course you spin them over and you're like, man, this thing's got no compression. I guess we got bent valves.
Right.
And you're trying to figure out what's going on. And, of course you call Porsche Tech and they want you to do these tests. And of course, you got no compression, and they're like, well, I guess tear the motor apart and find out what happened. And it was funny. I had opened the front up and saw a bottle of 20W50 in there. And I said,
busted.
This something's not right here. And of course you call Tech and they're like, well, drain the oil out. And drain the oil out and fill it back up and turn the car. And it was just like, like when you have a miss and you fix it, or each cylinder just finally popping in. It's like you can just feel the compression starting because now the valves are starting to close.
Yeah, it's coming back alive. Yeah,
and it's like it's like spinning over fast, and it starts slowing down, and it's bop, 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 and then next thing you know, it's running, and you're like, thank God, because the last thing you want to do is take a brand new car with 5,000 or 8,000 miles on it and tear it apart because there's no parts or no pieces.
Right.
So yeah, those
Well, that's why I'm gonna have to take and read the book when they get it to me for this van that I bought, a Ford. God, I don't even know the name of the van. It's their smaller van, not the smallest, but the smaller van. And
Right.
I don't have a book for it yet. And I told the people it was a used vehicle. And I told the people, I said, I need a book because I've learned one thing. If it says put this type of oil in it or this type of fluid, do it.
Yeah.
You might not agree with it. You might think it goes against everything you ever knew, but do it their way.
And the answer to that is, who's the better engineer, you or the guy at the car company who got paid to do that, to design
Exactly.
that and spec it,
So
yeah, I think on the bus. I'm gonna try to go with all OME. Keep it.
Sure. Yeah.
well, yours is what year is your bus?
03.
Yeah, because my diesel is an 02. Yeah, it's an 02. It's a DT 455 electronic injection thing. And
Mine's a 466E.
yeah, well, that's what I should say. It's a 466 DT. And I run oh God, 1540. And I just run the type of oil that International said to put in it because that's too expensive an engine to screw around with.
Yeah.
It cost me $3,000 to get the rings changed out on the thing because they tried a new experiment and they went to one ring instead of three for an oil ring instead of three. Hey, it sucked the oil out. Yeah, into the water jacket.
Yeah, mine was.
No, you don't.
I got the service records, and they did an end frame in 2016, but they only put 1,000 miles on it since the end frame.
That's good.
Yeah,
you're lucky because if you're careful with it, that thing ought to do you quite a good time. The mechanic that fixed tires up at this one shop, and he said, you know, these little diesels, and when you look at your, you know, it's a 1 ton. That thing weighs 1 fracking ton, 2,000 pounds.
Right.
And that's called a little diesel because you look over at the other bay and they've got a diesel in there that
Big as your car.
just about. He said they like their rods and rings, not rods and bearings changed at about 300,000 miles.
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, if I get 300,000 miles on this, I'm gonna be doing a lot of driving.
Yeah.
But they'll hold up for quite a while.
Yeah, it was funny because my first tool truck, when I got it, and I guess when I came up with the first oil change, I had switched over to synthetic because I had always run synthetic and everything, you know, and put synthetic in it, and man, that thing was going through oil, you know. So it came, you know, like I said, I had putting oil in it, and I don't know. I guess I got to the second, the one and only time that I really took the truck in or took it into the dealership. I said, man, this thing is going through oil like crazy. And so the guy, you know, of course, it was the typical dealer. Okay, we'll bring it in for oil change, and we'll, you know, mark it, and you know, you have to come back every 1,000 miles and have us check it, and we'll have to measure how much oil it goes through, and you know, if it goes through X amount of oil and a certain type of mileage, then you know, we'll look at it. And I was like, well, I really don't have time for all that. And I said, this thing's going through a lot of oil. And I said, you know, and the guy asked, he finally asked me, he goes, what oil are you using? And I said, well, I'm using, 1540 heavy duty synthetic. And he goes, he said, you got to take that synthetic out. He said, those rings haven't even broken in yet. He said, and I was like, really? I said, okay. And I changed it and never had another problem. That thing never burnt any oil. So
there you go.
Clearance in that thing or whatever. And so on the second truck, you know, like I said, it was the second truck did have, or it has a synthetic blend, I think. But you know, I don't try to know more than what the engineers, if that's what it's supposed to take, that's what I put in it now. So
yeah. Very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah, Rich, let's see. Rich sends his oil out, have it tested.
Oh yeah.
I'll throw it up on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lab in Jersey that does it. They're reasonably priced. I had the guy in the show years ago.
Yeah, they do it at most truck stops. There's what is Speedco? I think they do it there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd be afraid to.
Yeah.
This guy actually, he dispelled a few myths for us too. Like, you know, we asked him. So listen, one of the questions we had asked a lot, and we still do, is how often should you change your oil? What oil should you use, and what filter? Because the internet is full of videos and stories bashing and proclaiming others as kings, and everybody's an expert. So he said, look, I work in an oil testing lab. I test oil all day long. And he says, because of that, I can test my own oil whenever I want. So he did, and he did a few tests with different oils and filters. And he says, I don't think, you know, you or your listeners are going to want to really hear this, but I can tell you what I determined was best use for my case. And we said, yeah, we want to hear it. And he went to using Walmart. Yeah, the what's their store brand? SuperTech.
SuperTech, yeah.
Now we all know places put their name on you, like Harley Davidson. I had a guy, the old co-host, complaining to me. I only put Harley Davidson oil in my bike. It's the best thing for my bike. I said, well, you don't think Harley has an oil refinery? They make that oil, do you?
Yeah.
They're putting their name on it, and it's somebody else's oil, which you're using. And same thing with SuperTech. Walmart doesn't make oil, but this guy did the testing, and he said it came in, right with the other premium brands. He said, so why would I spend 3 times as much? And I said, well, there's a lot of logic in that,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We should make a website to show all the off brands that are made from big brands.
The thing is, I'd like to know how to tell where they were from, what the base stock is and all. They don't always tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I get that all the time. I get that because somebody will say, well, Snap-on makes this tool. I said, no, Snap-on doesn't make that tool. That's rebranded. Because, I get that all the time. It's like, oh, you sell rebranded tools. And I said, well, so does everybody else. There's only a handful of things that they make in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just like there's only a few things that we make in-house. So, everything else is somebody else's rebranded. But it's comical when somebody says, no, Snap-on makes everything. So.
You know how many factories how many things there's no way you could do it.
Yeah, well, you can't. So, but I always laugh. That's about as good as when somebody says, when are you going to order some used toolboxes? Like, they make they make used toolboxes, what I'm saying?
That new factory that makes used toolboxes.
Yeah. It's like, well, they sell used cars. Well, yeah, somebody traded that in, dude. That's why they have a used car lot. I mean, they just, they didn't make used cars.
Right.
And you have to think, that person's parent knew that he wasn't too bright and let him out the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you're right. There's some of them that aren't too bright. Yeah.
Good Lord.
So
yeah, when I get to under the hood, I'm going to try to go what the manufacturer suggests.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, you can't beat that. I mean, there's probably a few things, but in that heavy duty or severe condition type stuff, that is the best. I mean, it's kind of funny. One of my drive belts, I go to the dealer and buy it and spend $1 million for it, but I could find, I think the belt that I have on it now is for a wash machine or something, and it lasts, the AC belt on that truck, you're putting one on every year. It beats it up. And I think with that wash machine belt that I have, I think I get 2 years out of it instead of the one. So, I mean, sometimes you kind of play around or you find other things and some things will work, but it's kind of funny. You take something like a wash machine and that belt is better than what goes on the truck. So.
Yeah, because you wouldn't expect that.
Huh?
You wouldn't expect that a belt made for a washing machine would work better.
Yeah.
Than an automotive belt.
Yeah, it was it's some industrial. It's actually one time I was in my old tool truck, because my old tool truck had V belts. This one's got a serpentine and a V belt, but I don't know where I was, but I snapped the belt, and the only thing there was a hardware store, and it was one for a lawn, a walk behind, and it was one of those green top belts.
Yeah,
and it was a lawn.
Green belts are pretty good,
and it was good. I mean, I was like, dude, it just has to get me home, and I think I finished out the season with it. You know, it was.
I'll tell you, back in the late when I had my Audi 5000, my wife and I were going away for the weekend upstate. I had my mom watching the kids, and we're on the Cross Bronx Expressway, and all of a sudden, like, why isn't the AC working anymore? And it ends up, I lost a belt, so I got off in the Bronx and found a bodega, and I said, now I'm going to test one of those internet myths that doesn't exist yet because we don't have an internet yet, and bought a pair of legs pantyhose and tied it around the pulleys and made myself a belt, and it got me to my buddy's house so he could come home from the Audi dealership with an alternator and an adjusting, the adjuster and a belt. And it got me home. Oh, it got me there.
Crazy.
Nice. Tricks of the trade.
Yeah. I don't even know.
That wasn't the wife's pantyhose, was it?
No, I went to a bodega, bought a brand new pair. Legs and the little egg there. Yeah.
That's when you tell the wife she's got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
My wife looked at me and said, "Yeah, I want to sacrifice you." So.
Right.
Yep. Sounds familiar.
I'm gonna try my hardest to have 2 of everything in the bus. Backups.
Right.
What I think I'm gonna do is everything is pretty good now, so I'm gonna take all that stuff off, put it in a toolbox, and put new on the bus.
Yeah, be careful because you know what new means.
Yeah, exactly.
But
he'll have a good use. He'll have the good spares. So.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but.
Yeah. Or either way, one of the ways I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna try to have extra, man, because I broke down a lot in my life, and it's bad.
Yeah, it does.
Especially in a big vehicle, man. You can't get off the road good, and it sucks.
Can't find a place to put it to get it off the road.
Yeah.
And make sure you have room to put it someplace. Something you might say, "Oh, this looks good," and you realize you're at a funny angle, or the thing starts to sink someplace. I did that. I did that with the tool truck. And it was kind of funny. It was turning around out in front of my house, and I turned around in the yard instead of backing out onto the street and turn around. And the truck sunk in the front yard. And it's, of course, I'm not that smart, so I did it. I've done it twice, 3 times.
You learned the first 2 times.
I didn't learn the first time, but it was funny because I called my buddy. He has a tow truck, company, and I called him and I said, hey, I'm stuck in the front yard. Can you come by and pull me out? And he said, yeah, no problem. I'll be there in 20 minutes or whatever. So take your time, whatever. So he comes over, pulls me out. Well, my dumbass did it the next day.
Oh God.
No,
yeah. So I called him up and he's like, man, haven't you learned? And I said, no. I said, so he comes out and I said, his name was George. And I said, George, how much? And he goes, no, man, it's all right. And I said, no. You don't understand. The only way I want to learn is if it hits me in the wallet. So how much was this? And I want to pay you. And he told me, and I paid him, and I never did it again.
I'll tell you.
So, but
it really starts breaking down, boy.
But pulling off someplace and that thing sinking, boy, that's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, not only you broke, then you're sunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I've been on the freeway, man, on the side of the road under the truck, fixing it. I've been on a semi. You got the air ride on the cab.
Yeah.
I've had to change a hose where I had to climb up in between the cab and the frame, and trucks are coming by and it's bouncing on my head. And oh my goodness, man! I've been in some spots.
See, that's why you have to be rich to drive a truck.
Yeah, ain't no joke.
Now, earlier this year in February when I was going to Arizona, I blew out the dualies on the back, both of them.
Mm.
And it was a box truck. And I pulled over the side of the road, and fortunately, it was at an angle. But we had to call road service, and they had to bring out 2 new tires. And let me tell you what, that was an expensive call. Because they didn't charge me for the call, they charged me for the tires. Those damn
$1,000 apiece.
tires have gone up this year. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, rubber has gone up.
Yeah.
It hadn't gone up. It's heading for the moon.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I called the service truck one time, and after that, I went and bought spoons and learned how to change them tires myself.
Yeah.
There ain't no way I'm calling a guy out to charge me $700 for just coming out to look at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I blew one inner tire, and when it blew the outer tire. When that thing popped, man, that was a hell of a mess, man.
Wow.
That was what my problem is. The inner one had blown, and for some reason it blew the outer one.
Yep.
And I'm like, good God, you're not supposed to lose both tires at once.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the best ever was I had a front tire that had a knot on it, like a size of a cantaloupe on the sidewall. And so I came out and I said, man, I really got to get this thing changed before I have a problem. So about 4.5 miles from the house was a truck center. So I jumped in the old tool truck, drove down there, drove all the way out there. Of course, I'm, driving like 10 miles, 15 miles under the speed limit. I'm just trying to get there, make sure everything stayed away from that front tire. Didn't hit any potholes, didn't hit anything. I just wanted to get there, So I pulled in. Of course, the place went out of business. The place is closed up, And I'm like, I got to get this thing back home now. So I coming back home, and sure enough, the tire blows out. And it's a front one. And I'm about 3 miles from the house. So I'm just driving still. I'm driving real slow, and the truck's bouncing. I'm leaning over. And this state cop comes by me and gets, he passes me and realizes, hits the brakes and lets me catch up to him, and he rolls down the window and he honks the horn, beeps the siren, and I looked over, waved, kept driving. He's like, pull it over. So I pulled on off, and he goes, your tire's flat. And I said, yeah, I know it's flat. And he looked at me like I had lost my mind. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I get this thing home. I can't leave this truck out here. Man, I got $200,000 worth of tools on this thing, dude. I'm getting home. He goes, you can't drive on the road like that. I said, well, I've been driving for the last mile and a half. I only got 3 more miles. So he said, either you call somebody or I'm impounding it. So had to call my buddy up and sit there for half a day and wait for him. He sat there and waited because he knew I was going to drive back off. So he sat there and waited.
So, Brian, have you ever had the truck weighed with the tools to know what you weigh?
I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
I bet you're way overweight.
I'm afraid. So.
Truck too.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
What's up, Terry?
Same old, man. How's everyone doing?
You sound a little hoarse there. What's up?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah. Just listen to the stories,
Yeah.
The road stories. Love them.
Yeah.
Glad you guys got home safe.
Yeah.
I saw a certain CUDA on a flatbed looking good.
Yeah, man. I tell you. Woof. I'm going out there not this week, next week. And we're gonna get it in. The 28th, yeah, we're gonna get it in. All the pieces of sheet metal that can be replaced right then and there will be. Like, I got new fenders, got trunk pan, quarter panels, those will probably wait. I got the tail pan to convert it to a 70 instead of a 73. A couple floorboards, I think. Maybe one floorboard. I think the driver's side, and we're gonna get moving on that thing.
Good.
You know, so and I'm gonna take some stuff back. Like, I'll probably lose. I was thinking maybe take the windows out because I have a buddy who tints windows.
Mm-hmm.
Windows got to come out anyways to do the quarter, so I figure might as well take them out and get them tinted somewhat.
Yeah.
If they're good, if they're still good, which I believe they are. And plus, I got extra windows in there too. So all the stuff that I'm not going to use that I'm going to take, I'm throwing on eBay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm throwing on eBay. See if you can't get some cash for it.
It's gonna be nice.
No. So
Ray, you should come over, hang out with us.
Yeah, come on now, everyone.
It's only 6 hours, Ray.
Yeah, it's ain't bad. I was just talking with somebody today in the shop, and he was talking about picking something up in Maryland. Oh, we had to get we're suddenly get a car, a '93 Supra.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
yeah. I said, where in Maryland? And he didn't remember the town. I said, I got a buddy down there. I said, yeah, it's like 4 hours. I said, every time I drove down there, I realized like, hey, it's only 4 hours to get down here. This isn't bad. We'll do that one of these days.
Yeah, I like Maryland. Maryland, that'll probably be the place, or Delaware, that I'll probably like once I retire. I say that, but then I think once my son gets out of college and he establishes himself in a place, that's when we're gonna make the big move.
That's what really dictates the whole shebang right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, go to Delaware. You don't want Maryland.
Yeah, I'm thinking Delaware because I do like Delaware. I do like Delaware.
Well, I'm gonna move where it's warm.
Yeah.
So that's where my wheels will stop.
Yeah.
Well, I figure change of seasons isn't bad if you don't have to go out in it.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That's the key word.
Yeah, if you ain't got to go out in it, if you don't have to go and shovel a driveway or dig a car out, and you just in your house and
I'm with you, but Terry, even now, like the last couple of days I've been outside working in the garage. It's nice, having the door open, not have to worry about heat. It's nice to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually, like if you go someplace where it doesn't snow, that means it's not that comfortable in the spring or the summer.
Yeah, depending. I mean, look how our winters have been changing here.
Yeah.
Drastically. Even the summers too. Drastically changing.
Yep.
And New York's going to be like soon. It's going to be like, you go to New York for the fall and the snow and everything like that. They're going to be like, yo, let's spend winters in New York. Where it's nice
right.
Can
you imagine?
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next Thursday.
All right,
Jim, take care.
Hey, Ray, listen, I got an extra ticket to SEMA. You going?
Too early to tell, but it's sounding promising.
Really?
We'd love to have you.
Talking to my wife about it. I was trying to talk her into doing the vacation. It is now. My daughter's getting married, so everything is focused around this.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, my God, thank you. But they're like, and it's going to be in April. So, and I think they're doing something in October. She's coming up here for a bachelorette party. There's more activity going on than I can even care to shake a stick.
Oh, well, you're
How
good.
many daughters do you have, Ray?
Huh?
How many daughters do you have?
2.
Okay, no sons, right?
Nope. And my younger one, who is they both have a lot of autistic talent. Check out, she just made me for my
Nice.
drew
That's
this.
cool. That's cool.
And even color matched the car. I was like, damn. I tell you, I framed these. I hang these on the wall. They're so nice. I hang them up. I was like, you know what? That's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
That's beautiful. I'm hanging that up.
Well, tell your wife she can go and visit Vegas a little bit while you're at the car show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
As long as they all don't get hacked.
Right.
Oh, man. MGM took a hit, boy.
Did they?
Oh,
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened?
Somebody hacked them and cut the casinos. They didn't have elevators, no hot water. People's rooms were charged. I mean, all kinds of crazy. Supposedly they went after Caesars and Caesars paid them.
Oh, really?
That's what's come out now. It's come out now that Caesar paid the person or the hackers or whatever. Or,
it was ransom.
But MGM, I think it's still screwed up. I don't think they.
And MGM owns a lot of hotels on the Strip.
Yeah.
So they got into their systems. They were messing with people's pay. They were in everything.
Yeah.
Whoever got in there was no joke.
Yeah, wow. Supposedly. And of course, nobody's really talking about that. They don't talk about anything anymore. So the world's perfect. But it was a pretty big mess. I don't know if they've ever gotten it straightened out or.
Yeah, it's like went silent.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
But they were showing inside the casino, and all the machines were dead. Nothing was working.
Sounds like the radio station 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. That's why I talked about having my roll of quarters here, so I could slip it in and keep the radio station going.
If you guys hadn't checked it out, you got to check out Brian. Brian is an excellent co-host, an excellent fill-in.
His debut.
And I'll put it right out there, Brian. This Sunday, if you're free, I can use you again.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's
Chris is going.
I'm just sorry that the dog barked halfway through the whole damn thing, dude. The dog. She was. My brother-in-law had came by, and man, Lucy was wound up, and that dog barked. Oh, tell you.
Yeah, it ends up that Chris is going down to Florida. He's got some business in Florida for the day. He thought he had booked an evening or a night flight, but it ended up being a morning one. So, and I got Kenny Wessel coming in. Kenny, he's on YouTube. He's Wrenching with Kenny. If you guys haven't checked him out, he's got a great channel.
I know who he is.
He's from White Plains, and now he's down in North Carolina. So he's a New York guy, transplanted, but you wouldn't really know it. I mean, you kind of pick it up a little bit, but I knew he wasn't from the South. And the way he delivers his message is really good. He's a great YouTuber. And so he's coming up. He has some business in New York. And I said, look, if you're coming up, come on the show, come in the studio. So he's actually going to come into the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're going to be talking about scanners. He uses a Snap-on Solus, and he uses a Launch, and then he got this scanner called a King Bolin.
Yeah, I'm
like, what the hell is that? Well, it's an aftermarket one where they just they copy everybody's stuff, and he was using one and said, it's not too bad. It really is pretty good, especially at the price point.
Yeah.
So I was asking him about it. He put me in touch. He told King Bolin about me. They got back to me. They're like in Asia somewhere, and they're sending me one.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So I said, all right, I'll check it out. I'll put it through the paces and post my.
Usually, most of that stuff. Some of that stuff is bootlegged, and it's like I said, you're not paying for the rights to use. And usually what happens, and a lot of guys don't talk about it, but you do an update and all of a sudden you're missing something.
Yeah.
Because, somebody comes along and says you either pay or you can't use it. That's why a lot of times I tell guys don't update them, because whatever you had, you might miss or you might lose something.
I know that even happened with the hotels.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So
again, you can say, well, at the price point, you're spending like $500 instead of $2,500 or $5,000. All right, so you use it, and then you don't update it, and it just stops. It times out at wherever whatever you had up there, and then you buy another one. But
that's usually some guys. Even some of the guys are. I don't want to use the word this way, but they're too cheap. And they say, well, I want the update or, and then it's like, dude, you should have just chucked it and bought a new one. But, you got your money out of it. And some guys get a little greedy, and then they wonder why, and then of course they lose half the information or lose some of the stuff because it's they get caught. So
So that's going to be part of our conversation, so you know.
Okay, well, I'll be there, Ray. I mean,
you can take the corporate side if you'd like. That's fine.
No, I'll just go along for the ride.
No, I thought about that. I don't want you to put yourself out in any way or put yourself on any kind of a limb that could get you into Dutch.
Yeah,
so you want to take that side. That's fine. Because there are different sides to that story.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm not a huge scanner guy. I have my issues with them, so that's why I'm not a big scanner guy. And I love I do have a Max Light. This is a code reader on steroids, because basically it does all the stuff. And if I need to get bi-directional, or if I need to get in, I download the app for $22, and I have the information for that car for 30 days.
Nice.
And I don't have to, it's free updates. I don't have to pay for the updates. I don't have to pay for anything. But when I need something current, and I want the latest up-to-date information, I just download that app and I use it, and then I just cancel it, and I'm done. And I don't use it every day. Now, if like this guy, he uses it every day. I can understand that he wants to pay the big money or pay for the subscription. That's fine. But for most guys, they don't need all that. They're paying for stuff that they'll never use, which I don't understand.
And I'm another perfect example of that. I have different cars in the household that every now and again need a scan, and sometimes I want to do bi-directional control. It'd be nice. Sometimes you want to see the repair information. That's nice. Yeah. Actually, my stupid blue driver gives me a lot of information.
And like this would be perfect, like I said, for you, Ray. On that, because for the $800, where somebody, so it won't be that much, but
right.
The $800, and when you need to have bi-directional, or if you need to initialize a key or a security thing or whatever.
Now it's like I'm looking at TPMS.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, TPMS, even with the big scanners, is a separate component.
Yeah.
Now there are some of the Japanese cars you have to go in and I use the word wake up, but you go into the TPMS so that you can use the TPMS scanner to initialize. But again, even that you can get away. The one thing is Alltel has their own proprietary scanner,
right?
So it only works with their sensors.
Hey, something else for the truck guys. I know Vince knew about this. To just change gears a little bit, on my car, I got a mag wheel by Vintage Wheel Works, and the centers are kind of I guess like a powder coat gray, and the rim, I knew it was aluminum, but they were dull. So I just got a bug up my ass after the car show. Let me see if I can clean these wheels. Yeah, good time to do it, right? After the car show. But so I'm using some polishes that I had some mothers and some other stuff, and nothing was really touching it. And then I said, you know what? Damn, I remembered. About 15 years ago, my buddy at the motorcycle shop gave me a bottle of polish, and I think we talked about it here. It was this stuff. It was called Best Aluminum Polish.
Yeah.
It actually says here, the Brooklyn Ball Buster. And don't drink, contains petroleum distillates and jeweler's rouge. Well, this stuff did
dried up.
No, it's still liquid. There's nuts in there that you hear, but it cut through. I mean, it was turning my rag black. I actually saw a shine.
Yeah.
So I called my buddy at the bike shop and said, listen, that stuff that you gave me like 15 years ago, I never used it, but it was only like a quarter of a bottle. It ends up, no, they're not still in business. The guy had a heart attack and died, but they turned me on to a guy locally who sells body shop supplies and polishes. But at the shop today, I was down there, they were doing paint match on my car. My buddy gives me a bottle of this stuff called Time to Shine.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's got petroleum distillates. It's got
there's at a gun shop. At a gun shop, there's some German stuff. It's kind of hard to find, but it's True Blue.
Okay.
And that stuff will polish raw steel shiny, dude. Wow. It is vicious. It even has the skull bones on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that it's almost like a blue, like a sky blue creamy type of
yeah. That stuff is vicious thing. And I tell you, another thing that's really good, and I sell it on the tool truck. It's from Flitz.
Flitz has been around.
And Flitz is some great stuff, and they make a lot of.
I think I tried semi-chrome because I had some out in the garage. Nothing. I mean, those wheels should have been polished a long time ago, and they weren't. But this is the only stuff, and I heard that now there's another product, Woomoo or something. They make like two grades. One is like the coarser grade if it's a really dirty or abused rim, and the second one is a finer polish. So I think Vincent said something about that with the trucks. But
well, I know whatever the crackheads use out at the truck stops.
Yeah,
they come up for $5. They'll polish your tank. Whatever they use is the stuff.
Nice. Yeah, well, we got to find out what that is. Because this, I'm telling you, man, now my wheels are like shining. I'm like, holy, like I said, I was out there polishing today. I'm not a polisher. Then I started doing the stainless. I had all my stainless polished. I'm out there polishing it again with this stuff, like drip rail moldings and go around the windows. And like, look at this.
Like, speaking of crackheads, I have a crackhead epidemic over here at my house. Right.
What's going on?
So yesterday, I'm standing in the kitchen and I hear my camera go off. So I didn't hear what camera it was. You know, it tells you front, back, or side or whatever. So I go look out the front. Nobody's there. So it was actually my wife looked on the phone and it was somebody walking through my backyard.
Really?
So I run out and of course he's gone. Crackheads like disappear. You know, it's something with them, man. They got magic.
Yeah.
So I go out, he's gone, right? So my neighbor across the street says, "Yeah, I seen him. He cut through the yard here." This dude was gone, right? So I told you guys, I bought a carport, tent. So I opened up that, and he had cut a hole in the back of my tent, just enough to fit his head through to look in and see what was in there.
Wow!
And then he walks around the back of my garage and then across through the front, and he was gone, man. I don't know where he went.
Wow.
So today I'm at work and my side camera goes off. Remember I told you a couple weeks ago a girl walked across my front yard at 4 in the morning? It was the same girl, right? So now she walks behind the bus up the driveway, looks behind the house. My camera talks to her and says, "Hey, you're being recorded." So she turns around and leaves. I don't know what's going on, man. I think I got somebody must have sprinkled some crack on my backyard.
Yeah, you got a roach problem.
Yeah,
you got a roach problem.
I'm getting Japanese beetles. You're getting crackheads.
Yeah, we're getting those lantern flies.
Those lantern flies. Yep.
Yeah.
They've been popping up down here.
So I'm gonna get me a big stick from the backyard and wait for them to come through so I can show them how to really get down.
Right.
Just don't have any witnesses and make sure your camera recording is set.
Turn them off.
Alexa, turn the cameras off.
Yeah.
All right, Alexa, stop. She be listening to everything.
That's what would worry me about one of those systems. They listen to everything.
Oh yeah, don't say nothing you don't need to get out.
That's it.
We had, this was back in 2003, 2004, I think. We lived in this duplex apartment, and there was some crackheads, some cluckers that would come up and sell stuff. And I saw where they lived down the way, And I told him, we better never have stuff missing in this property. I will kick down your door. I will take my stuff, take anything else I see, and I might even steal you too.
Mm-hmm.
And they stayed away from our area. I mean, but with those people, you got to make it very clear.
Oh, yeah.
Well, even sometimes that doesn't work because after a certain point, their brain doesn't
click,
process anything. It's gone. It's those are the ones that stand on the street corner and pee on the street corner, thinking they're in a house.
Yeah.
No
One
brain.
day, my camera went off in the front. This was like maybe a year ago, maybe 2. Camera goes off, so I look out my bedroom window. Well, first I looked on the camera and seen him in my daughter's car. So I opened my bedroom window and hollered out, "Hey!" He opens the door, looks at me, and says, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Who are you talking to?" He said it twice. I was like, "Hold on a second, I'll show you who I'm talking to." So I went to get Roscoe, but he took off running.
Yeah.
I was gonna light the sky up a little bit.
Yeah.
Be real careful because that's a tricky situation if you take anything out there.
No, I wasn't going out. I was going to shoot out the window.
You got to be able to prove that you were in fear for your life.
I wasn't going to shoot him. I was just going to shoot outside.
You saw that. Well, we're still being recorded. I can't talk.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't going to shoot. I don't have any guns. I lost them all in the boating accident.
Yeah.
Well,
is it that last hurricane?
Hurricane.
The little captain. Pow, pow, pow. That's it.
I was going to shoot my bow and arrow. I got my bow.
My crazy butt, I go out the back door, climb over the roof, slide down the front of the house, and sneak up on them.
Nah, I'm too old to be fighting. I'll stay in the bedroom.
Yeah. There's a certain age you learn, just don't fight.
Yep.
Stick your wife on him.
Yep. Send Trace out. Get him.
See, my wife is younger than I am, and she's also, well, obviously female. Courts aren't as likely to prosecute her if she puts on her helpless female act.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm a little old fat lady. Yeah. But not with that club in your hand, you're not.
Hey, nowadays you can identify as whatever you want. I'll throw a dress on and climb over the roof.
Yeah, right?
Yep. As long as you don't get pregnant.
You could be a señorita.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think those crackheads could give a good definition anyway, because what was it? I don't know. It was big and mean.
Well,
He had a dress and a goatee.
Yeah. I had to jump ship.
Yeah, I gotta get off. I gotta go get up early tomorrow.
It was great seeing Junior tonight. It was a nice surprise.
Yeah. Good kid, man.
Yeah.
I like that car you put on the internet. That white, that's pretty.
Which one?
I think it was a Chevelle he put on, wasn't it?
Wait, who you talking to?
Terry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Lewis. What'd you say, Papa Squirrel?
You put your that white car you put on the truck.
That's the CUDA.
Oh, the CUDA. Yeah, no, that's rusty. Yeah, that's a CUDA. Yeah, that's the next project that me, Lewis, and Tyler got going on, man.
That's gonna be a nice one, I think, when you get it finished.
Yeah, it's we converted to it's a 73, but we converted to a 70, and we got parts, man. When I tell you we got parts, we got parts.
Like 4 pallets taller
so
than me.
Manufacturers open it up again, I guess, huh?
Yeah, we got parts, man.
Right. Good.
You know, the exhaust system came the other day. Tyler just sent me a picture of the radiator with the fan and everything, and the Automotive fuel system. So we got parts.
Nice.
We
no
got
duct tape on this one.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope this next whatever it is they're talking about doesn't hit us anytime soon. Because I'm tired of being told I can't go somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a rebel. So if you see me in jail, please send bail money.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of people.
Yes, there will be, because I'm not going through that shit again.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, same here. Hey, real quick, Lewis. Earlier you were talking about moving somewhere warm. I was going to say we got warmth here in Arizona and snow.
I don't want the snow.
You just stay south and you don't have to worry about the snow. But if you miss the snow, you just go north, or right here in town, you just go up about a 45-minute drive up the mountain, and if you're missing snow.
Yeah. All right.
That's why I like California, because these guys be driving their cars, the cars the fair weather cars we have, these guys be driving them as their main means of transportation.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different world. When I go to California, it's a different world, man.
Yep. Believe me, I don't want to see snow ever again, ever. I'll put it
that one area you sent me that message on a month or two ago, that property, that area, you don't have to see snow unless you pull out the binoculars and look in the distance.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see it on the mountaintop, but that's it.
That's it. Like the Paramount logo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, guys, have a safe week, and thank you for hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Later, Lewis.
You too. Be safe.
See you next
I'm
week.
gonna head out as well. I gotta wake up early. 5:30 comes around real early.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah,
Take care, Terry. Be safe.
Take care, everyone.
All right, Terry.
See you guys.
So long.
Brian, Ray, Papa Squirrel. See you guys later, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Later on, Terry.
Catch you. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We don't have snow here in Fort Bragg, just rain and wind, and I think we've had an earthquake or two. I know we've had one since I've been here, because it's really weird to hear a tornado coming towards your house and there's no funnel cloud.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everything in the house is shaking, and you're watching it go across your house like a wave, because this one came, I don't know how you want to describe it. Anyway, it came through the house, and I'm sitting here and I start feeling a shake. My friend's next to me and he's looking around, and Pete's legally blind, and he's going, "Oh shit." And I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "It's an earthquake." Huh? Me not being smart enough to know what the hell it is. And sure enough, it was one that went on up the coast.
Wow.
And I've been in an earthquake. Thank you. I don't want to be in another one.
We've had tremors that have come through here, believe it or not. But almost every time I've either been in bed, but there was twice it was blowing up on Facebook, and I know I had feet on the ground and I didn't feel it. I mean, it was tremors coming from California, or Mexico, and it just rolled through. I think it was like maybe a 3 or something like that as it came through here. But a couple people said they felt the ground was rolling or something, and I didn't
really
feel
weird.
nothing. Yeah, I didn't feel nothing.
Yeah. We had one a few years back, pretty big one. And it was really weird because I'm sitting there talking to a guy, and I'm in a shop, and they had, I don't know, it's like it's a body shop, but it used to be.
Oh, you got your glasses off.
It was a storefront. So it has these plexiglass windows that are like 10 feet tall and 6 feet wide. There's like 3 of them. Like it was a storefront,
Yeah.
And you when you're walking on the sidewalk, you look into the body shop, and that glass was, the way it was moving was just so weird. And I'm standing there, and the guy next to me, he was like, "What the hell?" And I said, "I don't know." And I walked out, and everybody walked out into the street, and they were like, "Was that an earthquake?" Because that was the weirdest thing, because that's not normal around here. And but there was a lot of damage because the Washington Monument was closed for almost 2.5 years for repair, cracked all that, and
oh wow,
we had there was a few places down and around where Silver Spring area where the sidewalks had buckled and everything, and it was, like I said, it was a little bit of a mess, but it was a very weird feeling. And my brother, he's in New York now, but he lived in California out in the San Francisco area, and he said that was like routine. That was all. I mean, that was all the time. There'd be a little tremor or shaking or something moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I don't go for that. That didn't suit me very well.
Yeah.
So
well, I always think about that when I go into San Francisco to have to go to my VA appointments. The Golden Gate Bridge has been very steady. Golden Gate's a well-made bridge, and I guess it's just not an earthquake area, but the Bay Bridge, yeah, but it hasn't done much earthquaking.
all that stuff moves around, though.
Oh, it does. I don't care what it was in the Bay Bridge that fell down. I saw those pictures, and I'm not driving across it.
Oh, you mean that big one in the 90s?
That's you're talking about the Tacoma Narrows. That was back in the 50s.
Oh, that was, yeah.
We used to show that movie in physics all the time.
They show that movie to every engineer's class that they go.
That's why we showed it. That's right.
There was that one earthquake that happened in San Francisco in the 90s that it took out the Bay Bridge where the double deck, it collapsed.
Yep.
People were pinned. I think that was it 93? Late 80s, early 90s.
Wow.
Oh, shit. I can't remember because a friend of mine was supposed to come out here for a interview. He's a nurse anesthetist. And he said he turned on the TV and saw that bridge doing that. And he called up the hospital and said, I don't want the job anymore. See you guys later.
Thanks, but no thanks.
There's also that famous picture, that bridge in outside of Seattle. Is it the Tacoma?
It's Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The one that twists and turns.
That's when they learned about resonant frequencies.
Yes.
Everything has a resonant frequency, and they decided to finally design around that resonant frequency. That was like the big oops moment.
Yeah.
One of the things I
a
think
famous
is
video.
Yeah, engineers keep trying to build bridges lighter and lighter and cheaper because that's what they're supposed to do. I don't believe in it. I believe you should build a bridge extra heavy to withstand anything that's coming after it, because they had some hellacious wind up through that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's when they come up with the, like the suspension bridge, like the Verrazano with the cables and all. That's the actual tension. That holds the tension, holds the bridge up. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
But hey, Brian, I saw a video tonight on Matco's channel they were showcasing the new Rex.
The new Rex.
The 1,700 foot-pound impact. They called it the Rex.
I blew through. I've got 25 coming, and I was able for 5 of them. I guess I got 5 of them at the meeting. 4 or 5. They were gone already.
Why'd they call it the Rex?
You're asking the wrong person.
I was waiting to see if there was a T, like a T-Rex, because it's
T-Rex. I have no idea. They don't tell us anything.
Strung like a dinosaur.
That's what it sounds like.
There's another channel I watch called Shop Tool Reviews, where they do pretty much everything, reviews of everything. And they were showing this. It just said NAVAC, all capital letters, and it's a cordless flaring tool. So it's battery powered. Apparently, you take your line, you measure it, you put it in this it's like a cartridge that then locks into the tool, and you just push the button, and it makes whatever flare you tell it to do, single, double, bubble, inverted, whatever. And you take that out. There's your line. You need a bigger line. You put that in the other cartridge, stick it in, and just push the button. I'm like, wow, that looked pretty cool. They didn't talk about it. They just showed you a video with no dialogue. So,
I'd be interested to see that.
I don't know who makes it or what. I'll send you a link to the video.
Yeah.
Or they didn't talk about price point or anything, but
yeah, our that new. I don't know if it's. I mean, like I said, at the meeting, at a regional meeting that was debuted, and the only thing that they kept talking about was that the anvil is made out of some space age. I guess that, since they let the bag out that there's little green men running around, that they've used metal, some type of metal that, because they were breaking the anvil. It's like shot peened metal or something.
right.
But it's I sold all 4 or 5 yesterday, and I got 20 more coming. I hope they show up, and everybody that got them, they all sent me text messages saying how much they loved it.
Right.
Like I said, I'm just dumbfounded on how much power. It's crazy. 1,700 foot-pounds of breakaway power.
Right.
And it's the nice thing is the warranty now is the warranty is still 2 years, but you send it in and they test it, and if there's anything wrong, they send you a new one. So it's better or quicker turnaround.
Yeah.
I'm really I know that the other guys in their red and white trucks, you send something in to get it fixed because they just never have the power that they had when they were new.
Right.
And I guess I don't know, because we've done that with a handful of tools now where it's just exchanged. It's not getting that one back. And I don't know if they're trying to research, they really look in to see what failed or trying to prevent, I guess. I don't know. I'd like to talk to somebody that would be kind of open on that end.
Yeah.
Why they changed that or why they just don't fix it.
Right.
Unless it's because of either parts or they don't have the people to do it. I mean, that's the biggest problem that we have now. You send stuff in, there's nobody, there's no rebuilders anymore. Or they don't have parts. I don't know if that's the issue or what.
Right.
I wish somebody would be open about it instead of just shooting the shit or pulling the wool over your eye or telling you.
Part of it might be lack of employees. After all the shutdowns and stuff, a lot of people retired or said screw this and didn't go back.
Yeah. Yeah. So after my bout of locking my keys on my trunk and all of that, I ended up. This came in today. This is now a trunk latch for my car. That's a power trunk latch. So I'll run the wires, put a button in the glove box, pump.
But so, I mean, don't you have vent windows on the side? You couldn't even tap on the vent windows to open them?
It wasn't that I could. The doors were open. I locked the trunk. And
the keys were in the trunk.
So I was asking one of my buddies who used to allegedly be a car thief. I said, what's the quickest way to break into this trunk? You've probably done this a million times. He's like, yeah, but I don't think I ever did it without damaging the trunk lid. He goes, and yours is all nice and painted. I said, I just had it in the shop for 2 days to take care of chips. What's another? I don't give a shit. So let's drill out the lock. I actually had guys coming over to me. Everybody who was left that had an older car bringing me their keys because
I'm
back
really
in the
surprised
day-
you couldn't find one.
well, I know why. I had changed all my locks. I put brand new locks in my car. So back in the day when everybody had worn locks, those keys worked, you know. And I know my Pontiac key, my Chevy keys back then happened to unlock predominantly like Oldsmobiles and Buicks. I could unlock or start almost any of my friends' Olds or Buicks.
Yeah.
And then my car. But yeah, now we realize like, yeah, now I put all new locks in so that this tumblers are tight and sharp. So forget that. Then it was like, well, take the back seat out and crawl through. I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, take the back seat out. I got to take the armrest off to get the back of the seat out. Then you got that big cross brace in there. I got an amplifier sitting on top of that. I said, plus, I kind of called it. I said, if you open the trunk, right in the left rear corner, right there, I had a mail bin, you know, one of those plastic mail bins. And I had all my stuff in there, my camera, a couple of hats, pair of shoes, all soft stuff. And then ahead of that, I had like, you know, moving blankets and chairs and all. So I said, I got a feeling if they're in there, that's where they are. And it's exactly where they were.
Yeah.
I said, so if you crawl in through the back seat, that's the furthest point away in the trunk. And with the deck lid closed, you can't lift that bin to pull it back.
Yeah.
It's dark in there. You know, I said, you can't get the cross bracing is really, you know, that's a big detraction. It's tough.
That's why you got to keep a midget on hand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my buddy was nice enough to lend me his car so I could take my family home, get my spare keys, and go back. So, and then of course, when I opened the trunk and I took my camera bag out of that bin, I heard something tinkle, clink. Yeah, that, you know, my keys. So now I said, okay, the problem was getting into the trunk. So I said, screw that. So I ordered from Ames. I ordered a power trunk release. So all I got to do is get in the car. And if the car's locked, between the vent window and being a hard top with no post, Slim Jim, coat hanger, you know, you get in those cars easy.
Yeah.
I can always get my door open. And as long as I keep the trunk open and powered, which I will, I can pop the trunk. So
yeah.
Maybe I should hide the button in the wheel well or something. I'll do like one of those, like,
yeah,
I just put the door poppers, you know,
like the door. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like the door poppers.
Yeah.
Or just do a old school vent window. I mean, a cable.
You know, my friend Kevin said that. How about like a cable, like they do on the newer cars? Yeah. And then another guy was telling me, and now the stories start coming out. My one buddy that's got a '55 Chevy, a beautiful one. He goes, "Listen, Ray," he goes, "don't beat yourself up over it." And my daughter actually said to me, she goes, "Dad, I can't believe that through all of that, you stayed so calm and you didn't get, you know, visibly upset." I said, "Well, what am I going to do? Yell, run around and scream like a little bitch, you know, and like be like, oh, my cars." I'm like, no. My key, I didn't know where the keys were. I was more pissed if I lost them because the key fob is 40 years old, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, plus a shop key on there, which wouldn't have been so cool to lose.
Yeah.
But I said, you know, I don't lose my keys. I never have. So that annoys me. I said, but yeah, I'm not going to get pissy about it because it happens. You know, it happened. So this other guy comes up and says to me, "You know what? I lost my keys once the same way. I lost them in my trunk." He says, "Now whenever I get to a car show, I take the keys out, I throw them under my seat."
Yeah.
And they're always there when I come back. So everybody's telling you stories now about when they lost keys.
What I usually do, I have a lanyard, and I stick my keys in my back pocket. And if you ever watch me get out of my car, as I lock it, I keep reaching around my backside, and what I'm feeling for is the lanyard hanging. Yeah. And if I know that lanyard's hanging, my keys are on me, because I've locked my keys in the car so many times. So I always, for me, that's my thing is I have that lanyard, and I reach down for I never wear it around my neck. I can't handle the weight of the keys around my neck.
Right.
I probably have way too many keys than I need on my key ring, but that's that. Well, the nice thing is too is if I need it, I can get my thumb around the end of the lanyard yank them out of my pocket and start swinging.
Yeah. Well, that's what guys were talking about, key strategies, and I said, okay.
Yeah.
I said, here's mine. I said, I have a ring that has my 2 front door keys and a shop key on it, and a little buck knife, and I have one of those quick disconnect key connectors.
Mm-hmm.
I said, every one of my cars has its own ring that has the car key or the keys related to the car, and a quick connector. So wherever I'm going, I take my house keys and click the appropriate car keys onto it. So I don't carry all of them. I only carry what I need, because if you lose them, you lose everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And the only car I
a good
don't do
idea.
that with is the GTO. I just keep those on a separate ring without the quick connector. But my strategy is on my belt. I bought this at a locksmith probably 20 years ago. It's a clip mechanism. You slide it over your belt as you're putting your belt on. Click the keys onto it, and you hear it go click.
Yep.
Those keys are on there. So when I lost my keys, I'm looking on my belt was my house keys, but where's the car keys? They didn't come off. They don't come off. Someone's got to be a really good pickpocket to get them off without you feeling it, because they got to press on the lever of that spring to relieve the tension. So I knew, they were somewhere that I just couldn't get at. So, but it's pretty much sharing their stories with you.
I have one of those. My dad carried those. Had those belt clickers.
I have 2 of them, because I have 2 belts that I wear. I have a belt for, it was like my better belt, and my other belt is like my knockaround belt. So I have 2 of those clips, and that's how I carry my keys. But
I was trying to find, and I don't know what I did with it, because I showed you once before, but I have the GM tool to straighten the trunk lid out or the door when you stick the screwdriver in the slot, in the key.
Right.
Well, with the key, the lock. Well, because on a GM back in the day, because all you had to do was stick a screwdriver in there and turn it, and it would turn the rod and unlock. But it would damage the metal,
right?
The indentation or the metal. So I showed you once before. I don't know what I did.
Yeah, didn't you take it out a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks, and it was 2 pieces with a bolt, and you stick it in there and tighten it up, and that re-stamped the metal.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Back in the day, we would get all the GM cars that were broken into from the deck lids, and and they would put a lock in there because it had that horseshoe clip,
right?
But because the metal was deformed, it wouldn't hold. So they would put it together, and then when you stuck the key in to turn, it turned the lock.
Yeah,
and they would what you got to do, and of course you just reshape the hole.
Right.
And then it would hold the thing.
One guy actually told me what he made, because he locked his keys in his trunk a few times. He made a rod out of something, and he made an end on it with a flat, so he could grab the flat rod coming out of the lock cylinder with this thing, and then just turn it and pop it open. For years, I swear, for 20, 25 years, I didn't have a trunk lock in my car. I carried it like a 6-inch screwdriver. I stuck it in the rear armrest. I would take that out, put it in the hole, pop the trunk. That's how I got in that car for like 25 years.
The funny thing is that the trunk hole fix thing, I think it was Keith. I think he was talking about his Buick, and he was talking about something he needed, and you're like, "Oh, I got," and you pulled it out.
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, I don't. It's not deformed. Because we were talking about popping a trunk and whatnot."
Yeah,
that's cool.
But actually, a lot of times, like even on my 66, I have it, because where the lock mechanism. And you put the key in, the rod goes in the turn, but how that's set up on the bottom of the lock has a place with a tab and a hole in it, and you can actually hook a string to that and have it come through the, or a cable.
Oh.
And you can put it, because a lot. We used to do it with the. We didn't do it. They came that way. The Porsches had that, and that was because it was electric lock, and if the battery was dead, you couldn't open the hood unless you took apart the car, because it was secret, and it had a cable that you pulled and it opened the latch. So
this will never happen again.
You'll go through all, like you said, if you don't do it, you'll do it again. But if you go through all this, you'll never need it. So that's how that works. It's like me getting stuck, getting the tool truck stuck,
Right. So I got to show you something else that's like kind of unbelievable, because it's just like too good, too unbelievably true. Now, remember this guy?
Yep.
Okay. So you sent this to me, the tread. My daughter's giving me a birthday present. I thought she bought me a pair of glasses.
Oh, yeah.
She found one in black.
In black.
Like, how did you even know? She was, I thought I heard you talking about it. I'm like, where? I was talking about this on the show with Brian. I'm like, how did you find this? Like,
yeah.
I got two of them now. Like, fuck.
Yeah. I
don't know.
The black one, I can't remember, because I know one.
I got to be careful what I say, because she listens.
Yeah.
She probably pops on once in a while to check on you, watch the after show and go, what does my dad need or like?
Maybe. It is on YouTube. But you'd have to like scrub through hours of show. I mean, we talk about, look how we go all over the place.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
I mean, right now, that was like a 2-second segment at, 11:05. Who's going to think of that?
Yeah.
But I tell you, I did, when I went to the shop today, I had to show off to Mike.
Yeah.
Mike Jr. And I brought these.
Yep, the wrenches.
Thank you again for orchestrating this. I got to tell you, man, and he took it out and he's playing with it. He goes, oh, it's got the good release. Look at that. It's got the wing release. He goes, oh, this is good. I said, yeah, those mountains you got? I said, don't break them. I said, because I found out, like, when they break, you're screwed. You're not going to get any, anything back. So.
And that's got the pivot too, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Now, I didn't realize these will do 6-point.
They do square, 6-point, 12-point Torx, Torx Plus,
it'd be e-Torx actually.
Yeah.
Excellent. And spline, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there in the garage today, working on my project. I took my console out and I'm redoing it, and I'm thinking about these things. I'm like, I don't know where to put these. And I'm thinking, I got to measure the inside of the FJ. And I'm going to have Brian give me some toolbox measurements. And they said, I'm going to have to take a drive and see what I can shove in the back of that thing. And
I did, yes.
Put it.
I don't have a good picture of it. But yesterday, I did I had to put a new pump in a floor jack. I had a floor jack and it had a bad pump. But if we're here, see, I'll blow it up here. Here, I've got the double flex version.
Oh, cool. Nice. That's interesting.
That's double flex. And then this one was, and then that's the flex. This one doesn't have the little dingster hanging off of it. See, that one's flat.
Is that what you call that piece, the dingster?
The little dingster, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know what to call that, so now I'm glad I know. It's funny because I'm looking, when I saw all the different fasteners these wrenches will grab, I said, oh, shit, now I need the short set, too. you know, because you got to have sometimes the big one's going to be just too big. I mean, when you need it, but sometimes that short one's going to be the thing.
So that one, like I said, it had the flex, but I had the solid end with the little dingster.
Right.
That one, But that double that this was a 1719 double flex, and look how long that thing is.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's right next, and that's the bar for the floor jack. I mean, that's
Okay, yeah.
And dude, it's that carrying a 1719 with that double flex, man, you're packing one hell of a rod on you, dude.
You could reach out and smack a crackhead from the window.
Man,
you got to get those to Lewis.
This is the 1618, and I mean it's past my.
Yeah.
This could replace. I could replace the bone in here and have extra. This thing is 18 inches long.
That's yeah.
Again, now you see, this was what keyed me in when I use those mountain wrenches. When I grab this one, I can feel. I have a better feel on this end.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the mountain one. I don't have one.
The mountain
here.
is sharp, and this is square.
Yeah, it has that has like a more of a blunt end on it compared to the mountain ones.
Yes, and that's what I like. I like that feel better.
Yeah. Oh, you'll love them, man. I tell you, once you start using those wrenches, and like I said, those are really actually I mean, I get them in, they go real quick. I mean, I'm hopefully, luckily, I was sweating bullets a little bit because I was supposed to get mine in, and when Jen called me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to get some in," and she goes, "Well, I need them by this time." I said, "Yeah, no problem." Right. And of course, they didn't come in.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God.
I didn't expect them.
And so I called one of my other distributors and I said, do you have, he goes, yeah, I got both. I got the old style and the new style. And I said, well, I need the old styles like the mountain ones.
Okay.
The changeovers in the head.
Right.
You know, the button, which is a pain in the ass.
Right.
And I said, I need the new style. And he goes, really? You don't want the old style? And I said, no. I said, look, it's for a buddy of mine. His birthday's coming up. And I said, I was supposed to get mine and I haven't yet. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And so, but
yeah,
everybody's trying to get rid of their old stuff, you know?
I know.
So.
Well, again, I appreciate the effort. It's much appreciated. And I know, like, you know, a couple of days before the presents start accumulating on the table and all, and I'm like, I see this box that looks like a big box of chocolates. And, yeah, I didn't go opening the paper or anything, but I just kind of just lifted the end of the box a little. I'm like, okay, I know what that is. Because I told her to contact you. So, but now I'm saying to myself, Brian said his order wasn't coming until the 15th, and the 17th, it's only 2 days. I didn't expect it would happen. I figured, it'll be later, no problem. The heart's in the right place. The date doesn't really matter. So I'm thinking, now you got me curious. Like, did we substitute something here, or like what kind of magic act was pulled? And when I opened them, I was like, all right, Jen. I said, how'd you do this? I said, because Brian wasn't supposed to get these. She goes, oh, well, he said he had one set lying around. I'm like, oh, really? One set lying around, huh? I said, all right, I'll find out about that.
Yeah, I was like, when she had told me, I got to look at the text message, but I thought she said, she needed it by the 19th.
That's Tuesday.
But your birthday was the 17th.
Monday. Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know what it was? How did I screw them all up? Oh, I know what. No. Sunday, the plan was we were going to that car show during the day, but they're done by 3. And then my buddy asked me to come to dinner with them. So I said, okay, we'll be home,
Oh, no, she said before the 17th. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I said, we'll be home by like 6. So we were supposed to have my other daughter FaceTime from North Carolina. And then I could open stuff that she sent me and all, and everybody could, we could do it like a family. But then when Sunday fell to shit, locked keys in the car. I didn't get home till I didn't drop them off till after 8. I didn't get home till 9. That took care of Sunday. So we did it Monday night. We went out to dinner and we came home. We FaceTime with Lauren, and then that's when she gave it to me. But still, I really didn't expect it. I didn't think you'd be able to. I didn't think you'd have them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
one set laying around. I'm like, yeah, really? Huh? Okay.
Well,
good.
like I said, it was funny because when like I said, she got in touch with me on the 6th.
Right.
And she said, I said, yeah, you should have them before the 17th. Actually, I thought it was the 19th, but I said, yeah, you should have them because I was supposed to get them in that week.
Right.
And I was like, okay, where are they? And
yeah,
I'm like, damn
it.
I said, I joked around. I said, these things are going to come in and I'm not going to be able to ship them out. I'm going to have to drive up and sneak them and put them on your front porch and then leave. You would have been, that would have been like drive all the way up.
Yeah.
Throw them on the front porch, knock and run, and keep going,
Yeah. Ring and run.
Yeah. So I was like, damn it. And then like I said, I called one of the other distributors and I said, hey, look, do you have one? And he's like, yeah, I got one new set and I got one old set. And I said, well, I need the new set.
Who are you talking to, buddy? Yeah.
So, but it was funny.
Yeah. Again, I appreciate the effort. It's very much appreciated. And she was happy. She was able to pull it off and all. So I said, yeah, everybody, it was good all the way around.
Yeah, it was funny because I told her, she's like, actually, because, me typically, she's like, hey, I got these things and I want to pay for them.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, okay. And of course she, the way she did it, I said, you got to go through it. And I said, don't freak out, but it's not me. It's my daughter's picture. And she said, okay. Because she paid online or whatever, but it was just funny.
Wait, back up again. What was that? It was your daughter?
Yeah, it was Venmo or whatever,
Yeah.
And when Brianna set it up for me, she used her picture. So So I get guys that will say, I want to pay you by Venmo or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And I forget to tell them because then they freak out because they don't see my picture. They see her picture.
Right.
And they think they did something wrong, and I'm like, don't freak out. It's me. It's not really me, but it's my account.
Yeah.
I think they're sending that money to a sex site.
Right. And their wife's going to find out. What?
Yeah.
That's I tell you, that's like the story I told you when I was doing way back when I was first started with the Snap-on guy back in the early 80s. And I was dating Linda. She was my girlfriend at the time, and she wanted to get me something for my birthday. I said, yeah, I really want this floor jack. And, and he's got one on a truck and he'll give it to me for a good price. But she was, oh, how much is it? And I think it was like $250 at the time, And she goes, all right, well, can I make payments? I said, yeah, sure. You can make a payment with him, right? So every week she gave me $20 and I gave it to him and he wrote a receipt out to Linda. And then it was, it's probably like in March, and he came over one week. He used to come to the house and he was like, oh, he's like, dude, I'm in trouble. I'm like, do I got to hide you? We got to hide you out? What we got? I said, I don't know where we're going to put this truck. I said, but we can hide you. He says, no, not that kind of trouble. He goes, my wife is going to kill me. I'm like, oh, that kind of trouble. Yeah, what do you do now? Big deal. He's like, no. He goes, it's because of my, my wife does my books. And she finally caught up and she was going through my receipts and she's seen these receipts thrown out to Linda. And it was like, I think it happened to be right around Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think she probably got it from Valentine's Day. And he put like hearts and he drew flowers on it. And he would, every week he would ornament it and all. He goes, she thinks I'm having an affair with someone on my route named Linda. And he goes, and I couldn't tell her otherwise. So I said to him, well, let's get, no cell phones at the time. I said, let's get to a phone and we'll call her. I said, Neil, I'll tell her. I'll tell her what's going on. I said, I'll get Linda on the phone. We'll tell her. She's like, no, she don't want to hear nothing. I guess, well, listen, you didn't do anything. You're innocent. You didn't do a damn thing wrong. And we know that, you're not guilty as charged. So he goes, I'll work it out. I'm like, look, I'll help you any way I can, because this is like, not. I still have the receipt in my book somewhere. It's all faded now because that was one of the carbon copies. But that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a few of my customers' wives' phone numbers in my phone,
right?
And because they text me or they'll call to make a payment, to pay.
Right.
And one time the phone went off, and Brianna grabs the phone and says, "It's Jen, Matt's wife."
Yeah.
And my wife looked at me and said, "What?" And I said, "Oh yeah, she wants to make a payment." And he goes, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I got a few.
So
I have a few conversations. I have a few conversations with some of my guys' wives."
Yeah.
So it is funny, but
cool.
That's when you find out if your wife really trusts you.
Yeah, well, my wife is at the point where it's been too long, and she's like, "You can have them."
Yeah. I tell you, my wife looks at my phone because one time I back up both our phones on my computer, and one time, it's a couple summers ago, her phone, something got corrupted. I said, "Oh, no problem. I'll just go back. I'll upload the. I saved it, so I'll just I'll re-upload it." But what happens? It uploaded my phone to her phone, so now she's got all my contacts, and she's like, "Holy shit!" She goes, "Hey, got like 500 contacts in this phone." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "It's because of the radio show. There's a lot of people." She goes, "I have a hard enough time keeping track of who as it is when the ones you guys you talk about, let alone these people I've never heard of before."
Right.
I have trouble too.
Yeah, that's the same thing we go through with my wife. I'll be talking, and she goes, and of course, I don't have. How many Mikes and Johns and Juans and everything else. So I'll be carrying on this conversation with her, and she'll finally stop and say, "Now, which one are we talking about?" Because I'll say something that and she goes, "Which one are we talking? Are we talking about so and so, or are we talking? Or is this somebody? Oh, this is somebody new." And she's like, "Oh, okay,
right." Yeah, same here. It's funny.
Yeah. She's like, "There's too many."
We did that where we got our new phones, upgraded our phones, and at some point transferring the contacts, it merged both mine and my wife's contacts together.
Oh God.
And then there was she has my mom under my mom's name, and I have my mom under mom, and I'm sitting there trying to text my mom. And here's the thing too, is over the years of coaching, I'll have such and such as mom, one of the kids or whatever. And there's a couple of times when that first happened, I didn't catch it. And I type mom, and I click and I start typing away and asking my mom, saying, "I'm going to stop by and blah, 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 blah," or whatever, send it. And I get this response back. "You're going to what?
Yeah.
Who is this? Is this Coach? Why would you stop?" I'm like, "Why are you calling me Coach?" And then I realized, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm trying to get in touch with my mom. Sorry."
That's funny.
Yeah. You got to double check, because boy, you can get in trouble for that.
Oh yeah.
You get real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as far as my wife, hers is easy because I keep her in my phone as Blondie.
Okay.
And so it shouldn't get mixed with anybody.
No.
But that kind of came about when we were first dating, because we'd be in a store and I'd be hollering her name, and she wouldn't. I'd be at the end of the aisle hollering her name, and she wouldn't respond, and hollering her name. and I'd holler out Blondie, and she'd turn and look. So then it became her nickname, and it became a thing. And then after that, where it became more normal, I'd get funny looks because I'd be at the end of an aisle and holler Blondie, and all these ladies look at her and look at me like, boy, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, I don't know, guys.
I don't know either.
Okay, guys, I'm going to have to say good night because
Yeah, maybe we should
I'm
all
not as
call
late
it a
as
night.
you are, but it's got things ahead of me like supper and bookwork.
All right, well, I did that, so I have things I gotta look forward to is good night's sleep, getting up, watching Leave It to Beaver and Chips, and then I'm going out to lunch with my buddy Kevin. So he wanted to take me out to lunch this week.
Yeah.
For my birthday. I said, all right, well then, but his birthday is like the 25th. I said, Kevin, son, I got to take you out the next week. I said, we're just going to pay for each other. What's the difference? It's like,
yeah.
Emma,
this Saturday, we're going up to Pennsylvania to Emma up to college because it's her birthday this Saturday. So,
all right.
We're gonna run up. And,
you're gonna be going through the rain, man.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to get rain here. I looked when you were talking about the weather.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the same, I guess. Showers or whatever. So we got to deal with all that.
So wait, you're going up Saturday and coming back when?
Saturday.
Oh man, all in one day. That's a lot of driving in one day. Well, I got my homework to do. I had to dig out my Metallica CDs here because it ends up Kenny is a big like metal and punk rock fan.
Oh yeah.
So I don't really have any punk rock, but I do have Metallica. So I think I'm gonna have to find some music to play.
Did you see what Metallica's doing? They have what's the lead guy? James
Hetfield.
Yeah, Hetfield. Yeah, they have an ice cream bar in the shape of his guitar.
Oh, cool!
That they're selling, and the proceeds go to trade schools.
Oh, nice!
That's cool.
He had an interview. It was an interview I was listening to a couple months ago, and he was talking about that nobody's given a grant or fundings for trade schools, and we need plumbers, we need mechanics, we need electrical guy, we need all this stuff. So I can't remember. I think it was the Albertson Corporation. So that's like Albertson's, Safeway. And there's two other big grocery stores that they own. And what's the one that starts with a W? Wise or
Wegmans?
Wegmans.
Yeah.
They're supposed to have their ice cream bars on sale.
Cool.
And the proceeds go to trade schools.
Well, he's a huge car guy. He's got a hell of a collection of cars.
Yeah.
Really nice stuff.
Yeah, his interviews where they talk about his cars and stuff, or they show his cars.
Top shelf stuff, man.
In fact, I think in that one video, something about disappear, I think is the video. The 68 or 69 Camaro. I think that's his that they're driving in the video.
He's got some cool stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he can obviously afford it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's a big. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. So
yeah,
you'll play some Metallica for Ken. I've been waiting to drop Metallica on Chris. I didn't have the heart to do it. I mean, he gets freaked out when I play Psychotic Reaction, But
play the opening to what is it? Master of Puppets.
You know, there's a lot. There's so many good songs that I just heard this song on the radio on from Injustice for All.
Yeah.
Blackened.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a fucking song, man. That is a hell of a song.
I'll have to write it down. I know I've heard it, but I'll have to write it down.
One is on that album too.
Yes, one's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a disturbing song.
Yeah, when you listen, especially when you watch the video that really ties in the lyrics.
Oh my god, yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
it's a good one, but yeah, it's pretty rough.
I mean, if I was gonna go to anything, I just default to the Black album, because everything is like everything on there.
Yeah.
Sandman, Sema Show, Only the Now, right? The Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam.
Yep.
Don't Tread on Me. Through the Never. Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah.
Wolf and Man, right? The God Had Failed. The last 4 songs, my friend of Misery. Yeah, the last 4 songs are less known, but the rest of that is just so super solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have some. We'll give Kenny some.
You gotta play "Gimme Fuel." That's a car song.
Fuel, give me 5. Give me 5. Yeah. What album is that on? I don't know.
Let me see, because I have it on my iTunes, and it usually shows the album, unless I did the greatest hits. But
I even had the Garage Inc. That was the one where they had the covers. They had bands. They did all cover songs.
I have it on Reload.
Oh, Reload. I have Load and Reload. Here's Load.
Yeah, there's
Fuel, first song.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. A band like this is just so tough to pick 2 songs that you're only going to hear a short bit of. But I feel I'm not telling him what I'm doing, so it'll catch him off guard.
Have you seen any of the like video clips of like when they did live and Kirk Hammett had the plexiglass guitar that was clear with the blue liquid in it?
That sounds familiar. Yeah,
that was wild. That was pretty cool.
I recorded these. I have them on DVD a couple of years ago. I caught them. It's just I forget. I don't even remember what channel I was watching it on. But they did this stuff live at Sonosphere. That was a concert that they would do. They did like Brazil one year, and I mean I don't know how many thousands of people were at this show, but
those shows that were down in South America were crazy.
Yeah, and one of them they did a time lapse from the beginning of the day of the people, like the roadies coming in and the people, and like it finally just filling up because what's the other band?
Didn't they do I think one of the biggest ones was like in Moscow, right? Or Russia?
I know in Brazil they are huge.
It was like almost I saw something. It was like it was like 1 million people or something, dude. It's like unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
So I don't know. Well, but I'll be ready, Beret. You'll look over in the corner and you'll see the little Matco sign on the it's the same link, right? So
yeah, same link. I was gonna say Iron Maiden was at those shows too. And they showed, I watched one, I have it recorded from, I think it was from Brazil, and they were saying no, because then they just bought their own jet and just said, now we're just fly, because what's his name? What's the lead singer's name?
From Iron Maiden?
Yeah. Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, Bruce, yeah.
He's a pilot.
Yeah.
And he's a commercial pilot, so he flies the 747. They're all in the back having a good time, and he's flying the plane. But they fly in, they land, and it's like,
they were just talking about them because they I can't remember where they were, and they wanted they got done with the concert, and they wanted like chicken wings or some bullshit. Got in the plane and flew back to the States. I mean, they flew back, and it was like, wow, dude, you're like, it was funny because
Those are expensive chicken wings. Just
Yeah,
in
well,
fuel.
I guess when
Yeah.
you got money to blow. But it was funny. What night was that? Wednesday night? I think it was Wednesday night. Brianna and her boyfriend had gone to 50 Cent concert. And of course, she gets home and she is wiped. And of course, she's got to get up the next morning and go and teach. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And she's out of it. She goes in class. So I get this text that I'm coming home and I'm going to bed. This was on I guess it was Tuesday night that she did that, and then Wednesday because So it was funny. But my wife gave her a hard time because the next day, 50 Cent was on Kelly and who's up there in New York. What's Kelly and
Isn't it her husband, Mark Ripa?
No, Kelly and
whoever. Yeah.
But he was there the next, that morning for the show, and it was funny because they asked him like, hey, you're 50 years of hip hop and blah blah blah, and you're getting up there, and he's like, well, he goes, the part that's really hard is that I'm now singing to my fans' kids.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, well, yeah, because here's Brianna as the second generation of that, going to those concerts. But she gave Brianna a hard time. She said the old man was able to have a concert down here, get up and go to New York and be live on TV, and you're like dragging your ass,
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
The one I like from Metallica for football is For Whom the Bell Tolls, the intro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The intro. We have next Tuesday is our quote unquote bowl game. We have our big rivalry game, and it's under the lights at the high school. And for the last couple of years, I've been begging, let us have intro music. Let us have it. And I want to come out to that. There's a couple of different songs I've wanted to, but that's one of them. I'm like, we can come out to that. Just, you don't have to play the lyrics, just the intro. Just, I want to get everybody pumped up.
I remember in the 90s, man, when Mariano Rivera, the closer for the Yankees, started coming out to Sandman.
Yeah.
He was the closer du jour, man. He could, and like perfect song.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, that's the only problem that you have with the Metallica or a lot of those guys, the intros are priceless, but there's too long.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why a lot of stuff
what
I don't
you
play.
need.
I mean, there's been actually times where I would, if I can get in there and do it, I can actually queue it up on the CD player. I can advance it and put it in queue so it'll start. But that takes more time and all, and it's depends what Rob is doing. And
although I think "Give Me Fuel" comes in pretty quick. I don't think it's that long of an intro.
Yeah, it's kind of like the rules I have for the songs. The second song, not so much, but for my intro song, I want to hit hard right off the bat, hard, heavy, and make a statement, and then what's really cool, the bonus is if there's a lyric that's not more than, I don't want to go more than 35, 40 seconds the most, but if there's a lyric that I can then pot down and just continue take the thought from that, like they set me up, I try and do that, like let the song set me up. That's a bonus. And the second song, a lot of times I can set it up, and and that's a lot different. That can doesn't have to have that much of a cold open or whatever. But
I actually, you saying that, I have noticed that when I've tuned in that
that's just me. That's just the way I like to do it.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna start with something, kick the door open with it.
Yeah.
And then go from there. Yeah.
You got if you got to straighten out those crackheads, kick their door open.
That's it. Kick the door open and smack them in the head.
Oh,
that's right.
All right, guys.
All right, fellas. So
All right.
Brian, I'll see you Sunday morning or afternoon.
Yep.
Have a safe trip to PA. If you got to stop in New York, let me know.
Yeah, we got we're up. It's only about a little over 2 hours. It's right across Reading, about 2 hours.
2 hours from you?
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
Really? How could that be?
Yeah.
Holy shit. My mental map is off, obviously.
Yeah,
I
try
gotta
to.
go PA to go down to you, so I would go through Jersey.
Huh?
But PA is big, yeah. PA's too
Yeah,
big.
well, we're the end that we're on, or it's borders up, with Maryland. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's on that because from where Emma is, I think Philly was Philly's like 3 hours or 4 hours. Actually, Emma was in New York last weekend. This is the crazy part. They went to a fashion show in New York City, and she got actually, I had to see her time on the thing, but she gets on the bus. They go to New York. The fashion show was 45 minutes. They get back on the bus and go back to the school.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Wow, that's nutty.
Because she's like, what am I supposed to do? She was like, because I was like, well, I don't know. I said, my brother's up there in Brooklyn, and I was like, I guess call Sean or something. And I said, call Ray. And Jenny's like, well, Ray's not close to that.
I want to, we're on Long Island. We're not that far.
I said he's on the island, and
we're in striking distance.
But it was just funny that she's like, because the whole time she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do because we're just going up for this thing, and then we get up there early. But man, it was on the bus, drive there, see the show, and then back on the bus and come back. I was like, damn, that's a hardcore bus driving right there, man.
Yeah, it is. That's nutty.
So, oh well.
That's cool.
All right, guys.
All right, well, have a safe trip. And,
yep, I'll be in touch. You guys play nice.
Okay, we'll do. Isaac, have a good week.
You too. Be safe. I'll tune in and listen on Sunday.
All righty. And we'll be back here next week.
Sounds great. Awesome.
All right.